Hola amigos, or should I say konnichiwa. There is a good chance you saw some videos with these guys, Japanese motorcycle cops. They do pretty cool stuff on their bikes, very advanced and beautiful. Not very much people can ride like that. But I have a strong suspicion that in fact anyone, you, me and every other rider on earth, can ride like this just by observing these guys and adopting their technique. Let's do just that. Let's observe one of their exercises, try to figure out what exactly they are doing, adapt it, and see if it works. This is one of the many Japanese police exercises, which we can observe in great detail. Let's see what they do here and then try to analyze it. Oh, and by the way, stick to the end of the video, because I also found a way to improve this exercise a bit, but I did it after I recorded the main part of the video, so yeah, try to watch until the end. I guess you get the idea of what's happening. This is how officers check their balance on the bike. They enter the rectangle 3 by 1.5 meters or 10 by 5 feet, and the dude with the stopwatch starts the time as the rear tire crosses the line of the rectangle and stops it when the front tire crosses the front line. As you can see, they have sort of an off-road stance here on the bike, but not quite the same. First, they stand on the foot pegs with arches of their feet, not the balls. That's because in this situation they don't have a much need in extra suspension which standing on the balls of the feet provides. And standing on the arches of the feet allows to reach the rear brake easily. Second, they use 4 fingers on the clutch instead of 1, because it provides better control of the clutch and less fatigue. And again, since they are not really off-road here, they don't worry that some huge bump suddenly will tear the handlebars from their hand. That's why in this particular case they use 4 fingers on the clutch. For the same reason, they don't keep their elbows up as we usually do off-road. Since the bike is on tarmac, they can just relax and loosen their arms to have less fatigue and better control over the clutch, throttle and brake. Upper body is in neutral position directly over the legs. Knees are slightly bent, but not very much. This configuration allows a lot of movement on the bike for balancing, and at the same time doesn't demand much strain on muscles. It's again very relaxed. And the last thing about body which is worth mentioning is that they use their knees against the tongue to remove any extra weight from the handlebars. Handlebars should move freely. You're going to see why in a minute. That's it for body position. Let's see what they are doing with controls. Starting with the throttle, as you can hear, RPM are slightly raised, exactly the same way we usually do on our slow speed exercises. Throttle is more or less constant. These fluctuations you can hear are not due to opening and closing throttle, they happen simply because the load on the engine changes as the officer uses the clutch and applies brakes. Also, as we can see from the brake light, they don't just drag the brake the whole time. They apply it to slow down and release it as soon as they want to accelerate a little. This is a smart thing to do. Yes, we can drag the brake the whole time of the exercise if we want, but it will overheat the clutch and the brake eventually, especially if we practice this exercise a lot. Clutch movements are really small and precise. We hardly can see any movement in the clutch hand at all. A few millimeters in, a few millimeters out, that's it. Very fine clutch control. Unfortunately, from this angle I can't really tell what they are doing with the front brake. For me it seems that they don't use it at all, which makes sense, I suppose. For now, let's assume the front brake is not needed in this exercise until proven otherwise. Okay, we figured out the body and controls. Now let's see how all this is being applied dynamically. To keep the bike balanced, these guys use 3 things. The main player here is rider's body. As we can see, the body is being used as a counterweight to the bike to keep it balanced. Handlebars are turning to the right, and bike is also leaning to the right, so the officer counters it by shifting his body to the left side. Additionally, he uses the handlebars to help himself. When handlebars turn, the contact patch of the front tire moves, which in turn shifts the balance of the whole bike. Turning handlebars to the right makes the bike want to lean more to the left, and vice versa. If we want the bike to lean more to the right, we have to turn the handlebars to the left. That's precisely what riders here do, and that's why I mentioned that the weight should be kept away from the arms. And as the last resort, when they feel that they are losing balance, they release the brake and release the clutch a little. Bike accelerates for a moment, regains the balance, so the officer can keep it balanced for a few seconds once again. Very nice, we cracked the mystery of Japanese perfect motorcycle balance. Let's see if now I can apply all that stuff to perform something closely resembling what we have seen. Not very impressive yet. As you can see, my body position looked different. That's because this bike is too small for me, so I have to reach for the handlebars further down. But I still try to keep the weight over my legs without putting any of it to the handlebars. Which is why I have to move my butt a bit back to balance my shoulders, which have to move forward to reach the handlebars. Also, my knees are just too high to grab the fuel tank, so I am going to use them for balancing as well. Also, since my foot brake is adjusted for sitting position, I have to really reach far with my right foot. Aside from that, the rest I'm trying to keep just like the riders on the video. After a couple of dozen attempts, it seems like I'm starting to do a decent job here. I am using the same technique as officers in the video. I am turning the front wheel and leaning the bike, counterbalancing it with my body. Also, I help myself by turning the handlebars. And as the last resort, I use the clutch. Pretty interesting experience. Now, after I had some practice of this Japanese method, let's see how it goes and how it compares with usual slow race approach. Alright, to be honest, I don't know if this is a good enough for a Japanese cop, but since I am not one, I'll say it's good enough for me, for now. Let's see how it compares to my usual slow race approach. As you can see, now I can't use my body weight so much because I'm sitting. I have to rely more on the handlebars and save the bike from tipping too much with throttle and clutch. This attempt seems more successful, but to be honest, I think it's simply because I am used to the slow race exercise and I tried the Japanese method only today for the first time. So if I could do it, you can do it too. Try for yourself. That was a pretty cool little thing to try. I really like these Japanese exercises. They are fun and, in a sense, give another perspective to riding. Maybe I'll do a few more of them on this channel. By the way, if you have any particular one in mind, send me a link, maybe we'll analyze it together. If you want to learn more about handling your bike, check out my video courses, beginner course for beginners and training routine for advanced riders. And also, I'm currently working on a completely new project, a new advanced motorcycle training program. I don't want to get ahead of myself yet, but if I manage to pull it off, this will be an incredible program, probably unlike anything else on internet now. So remember to subscribe to the channel to be updated. Another way to improve your stationary balance, which I found out, is to put your front wheel against the curb, like this. Now you can much easier balance the bike with your body. It allows you to find out the most natural body position for you and also work on removing any extra weight from the handlebars. And you can do it even without the engine running. Alright, that's it for today. I hope you liked the exercise. As always, thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye.